This show contains adult content. I'd like to extend a warm thank you to Ariel Weiss, Suzanne Hagen, and T, along with all of our other patrons for supporting us. You can find our Patreon page at patreon.com/soundslikeCrows. Savage Worlds and Deadlands Reloaded are owned by the Pinnacle Entertainment Group. All music on the show is written and performed by Rudy Zuniga or Levi Rojas. With all that out of the way, welcome back to the Weird West. We open up on a shot looking up at Ellis Crow on the edge of a cliff. His legs are dangling over it. The bright blue California sky is behind him. And directly next to Ellis Crow, on his right, on the camera's left, is Wechuge with his gray skin, bones pierced through his skin, and scraps of cloth hanging off his face, seemingly glued to it. Wechuge is sort of dangling his legs in front of the camera absent-mindedly as he looks down, smiles, and then looks up to the blue sky. Did I tell you I'll be able to smell it?
Do you smell anything then?
Nothing except once in front of us. I'll tell you when.
You really think this is gonna work out? It's been a while.
Oh, we got all the time in the world. Your brothers are doing just fine down there.
For now.
For now. You worried about him?
Of course I'm worried about him. That's all I've got.
You're all I've got.
Well, that's true. Never have any brothers?
None that cared about me.
What's your deal anyways, Way? Were you always all fucked up in the head like this, or before you died, was it a slow burn?
Oh, baby, you think I'm fucked up? What's going on with humanity? Think about the things you and I have seen people do.
I agree with you there.
I think I had a pretty normal life before humanity came along.
What happened?
Me and my man went up north.
Mm-hmm.
We found some good land. I made some good money in the fur trade. We made our way up north, found a nice place. We had a girl, actually. Wasn't ours by blood, a little bit like your Lucky. She'd make these sort of games for us. We brought a bunch of grain up north with us. There wasn't much to keep us occupied up there. She would have been a writer. She used to call me the Sack Man.
The Sack Man?
She'd make me these costumes out of these burlap sacks we had. Then, there were some French deserters. The thing about men, Ellis, is they'll do anything not to be bored. They cut him up.
They cut who up?
My daughter. And my man. Cut him up and cooked him.
Just for fun?
I guess.
Jesus Christ.
I had an option. What are you gonna do, starve? I think the only thing men would do more for than boredom is revenge. You know that, don't you?
All too well.
Then we tied up in the attic of the house we built. Could have just let myself starve in that, but I waited. And I ate. And then when I had a chance, I ate them too. Got those 6 sons of bitches back. Ate them part by part while they lived and wriggled. God, that was fun.
And then what, you just...
That's where I got my name, actually. The French call me Wechuge. Some sort of nonsense the First Nations believe in up there. Some sort of cannibal. I just liked eating Frenchies.
So you just started liking it, huh? It started out as revenge and then something snapped in you, huh?
I like it now, but it's hard to remember what it was like before. Once you're here, Ellis, goddamn, I don't know if you get the chance, but if you get the chance, you're just free, baby. You don't feel no pesky guilt. You don't feel no sick feeling in the belly of your gullet. You just feel hungry, baby. Are you sure I can't eat him?
Not yet. You said it only works if they're dying, not dead.
Remember how I said you can smell them?
They coming? No shit, really?
We better run.
It actually worked.
Let's go.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Good luck, boys.
The camera cuts to an overhead shot, and we see 5 mutilated, close to dead men in a pit that's been dug on the top of a mesa. We cut to a dark, newly damp cell that Thaddeus Crow is being thrown into. Thaddeus, as you slosh down on the floor, the water you're soaked in splashes on the floor, and they slam the gate behind you. You're alone in that large cell that fits the 20, 30 people that you and your brothers have been habitating in. As the members of the Upright Gang walk away from you in this stone corridor, this maze-like structure, you're left alone. You got your stacks of books in the corner, and you're clutching something in your hand.
Thaddeus sort of pulls himself together on the floor there, straightens his clothes just a little bit as he readjusts, and he pulls and looks back at his hand, and he's got that black envelope that he saw Mondragon throw off the dock earlier.
And it's torn in 2 pieces, I think.
I guess if he just tore the envelope, Thaddeus is going to sort of look behind him. And then if no one's paying attention to what he's doing, he's going to try to open up, see what's in the envelope. If there's any sort of letter or if it's just the black envelope, he feels like he's seen something like this before.
You move the letter over, you sort of feel it. It does feel like there's no way you could not equate it to the black envelope that was on the judge. They're both this onyx charcoal color. You've never seen another black envelope in your life before the one the judge had up until now. You pull out a scrap of paper, like a scrap of paper, not even like a solid letter. It looks like it was a piece of paper torn in half before it was torn in half again. And you pull out one side of it, and the ink that was on the page has been smudged and ruined by the water of the harbor. And then you reach in to the other side, and there is a scrap of paper, but there's also an ace of spades.
No, I think Thaddeus, as he noticed the ink bleeding, everything, that he probably was resisting the urge to crumple it up in his fist. He sort of throws it on the ground next to him. But then as he's opened up this other envelope, it's an ace of spades that he's got there. This is one he's seen before then, I imagine, right?
Yeah, that same sort of sickly print.
What in the hell is this? What? He'll sort of flip the paper back and forth, but the ink's bled on that?
Ink's bled on both of them, yeah. You could spend some time, if you could make some sort of roll, perhaps you could parse some of the letters and then form them into words, but I think just looking at it is nothing.
Well, I don't know if there's anything that he wants to do in this moment. I think that he'll look at this, he's got the card, and I think there's probably a shot of him just sort of stunned looking at this thing. I gotta figure out what the hell this thing is. Then he'll clamber to his feet and go over to where he left the couple of books he's got, his Ranger Bible and the Hoyle's Book of Games that he recently obtained. He's got in that little shoebox that they didn't take from him when they grabbed his cards and all our weapons and whatnot.
Right, it's just a book.
And so he's gonna sit down and probably crack open the Ranger's Bible and flip to information on the judge just to refresh his memory that he's got. Yeah, they have a list of people that are supposed to be on there, but this one's empty. And then I think he's going to probably spend the next little bit doing some hard reading if he's by himself, because at this point he doesn't know what else he's got to do.
We cut from the darkened, bleak cell to a much more opulent place. The cavern walls in here are larger. There's more lights in here. There's nice furniture, and the cells in here are basically cages. There are 3 of them. One of them is now empty, as Mondrian has left the hideout of the Upright Gang. There's still that old man, Lucky, that even in the week or 2 weeks, whatever it is that's passed, you haven't talked to. You probably haven't seen his face. Every time you come in here, he's just sleeping with his face against the corner. The father has tried a couple times in the last week to say hi to you, but never really pushed it. He's come by, said hello, dropped off food, and you've pleasantly ignored him. Today, however, he has been praying all day. He's been reading the holy book that he has in front of him, and he'll read passages out loud like every 10 minutes, and it's almost gotten to the point where it's just grating at this point. Every 10 minutes, just you think you have this silence. Maybe you're trying to fall asleep. Maybe you're trying to relax. And then he blindsides you with a verse out of Psalms,
Sure.
And we cut in during one such passage. Because of all the evil he had done in the eyes of the Lord, arousing his anger by the things he did, becoming like the house of Jeroboam, and also because he destroyed it. That's an interesting verse, don't you think, Lucky?
Lucky's heart skips for just a moment, and it makes him sick to his stomach because he realizes, despite being alone, basically alone in this cell for a week, that he's found the voice somewhat comforting. When the voice skips a beat, he realizes it's the only comfort he's had. He hasn't had any companionship, any brothers to turn to for this entire week.
I know you've had a hard life, my child, but those times are over. You are at a place of safety, of hope. You're the prodigal son, returned home.
In disgust, Lucky retorts, "Prodigal son? What the hell are you talking about? Look around you. Do you think anyone here wants to be here of their own accord? You have nothing but slaves."
These people have seen the word of God, and they've seen it spoken through me.
Lucky slams his body against the cell door, reaching, beckoning with his left hand. You think these people are here for their own anything? You haven't taught them anything. You haven't showed them the word of the Lord. You showed them gunpowder. You showed them what fear is. You make me sick.
We are all a part of God's plan, and he has a plan for all of us. We can do no wrong because we are in his light. I am a vessel of God, as are you. If you get rid of these preconceptions that you have, and you understand what the Lord is trying to tell you.
No. I've always thought that the Lord was just a fairy tale, but it's just a tool you're using to manipulate these people. You don't know anything about anything, really, besides manipulation. Here you are manipulating me. Here you are manipulating hundreds of people. You don't know the first thing about morality. You have nothing to do with religion. You're as far away from a religion as you could possibly be. You're just a sick old man with a disgusting plan that you want to fulfill.
He snaps his Bible shut, slams it down on his desk, and stands up abruptly from his chair. There's a flash of anger on his ruined, withered, harrowed face. I'm not using it as a tool. God is using me as a tool to affect these people and to change their lives, to change your life. What did they have before me? What did they have before this? Some ruined scrap of land, ruined with salt water. We're feeding people. We're keeping them alive. As he's talking, he's stepping forward, but he's probably still about 6 feet away from the cell.
Lucky continues beckoning, almost taunting with his left hand to get closer. You're harvesting people. You're killing them one by one. Just to satisfy your sick goal. Just to fill your self-righteous.
That's not what it is, and I don't need to prove anything to you. You should see the truth that's in this world. Make a taunt roll.
You got it.
So be opposed by his smarts. Get a +1 because of your argument. You rolled a 3.
10.
That's with a raise. He starts to move forward kind of angrily, clenching his fists like you've seen him do before. With that roll with the raise, as he's talking, he's clenching his fists angrily. He's sort of gnashing his teeth, and he comes close enough to the cell that he's sort of like at arm's reach. You could touch him if you wanted to.
He reaches out to one of his hands, almost in a comforting sense.
And there's like a brief silence as sort of this anger that's been building up. Can feel it in the room. And he stops for a minute, takes a deep breath. He lets it out. He smiles. And then he grabs your hand. As his hand touches yours, it's not just the sizzling sound of skin. Your hand erupts in flames, and his hand and yours are both engulfed in this bright orange flame. Roll 2d8.
18.
So he's got a toughness of 8, so that's 2 raises. He's going to soak. Nothing. He's going to spend his other Benny. He gets 1, so he takes 1 wound. You grab his arm, and he looks at it in horror, starts to scream, and then tries to pull back from you.
Can I try to keep him grabbed?
I think it's an opposed fighting roll.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
3. Caleb's going to add a d6. 8.
I don't think with my wounds I'll be able to beat that.
How many wounds do you have?
2 at this point.
He's got an 8. You got a what?
3.
So he rips his arm from yours, and it's still covered in flames. It's tensed up, and he's holding it down below his waist. He's looking at horror from it to you as it's covered in third-degree burns. He grabbed your left hand with his right hand, so he's clutching at like just below his elbow on his right arm with his left arm, like trying to apply pressure, trying to do anything to make it stop. And he's just screaming, and that scream is echoing within this chamber. Within a few moments, some people come running into the room armed, and they look to him, and then they look to you. He looks at them with a hateful look in his eyes. He screams at them to get out, and then they start running as he collapses into his chair at his desk, clutching at his arm.
You see a gold smirk appear through the bars. You're no prophet. You bleed, you burn just like any other man. In fact, if I'd say anything, you're frailer than most.
You're trapped here with me, you stupid piece of fucking shit!
I'll die here if I have to, but I'll die knowing that you are just flesh and bone. You don't teach morality, you force it down people's throats. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. And my brothers, they have a hell, a reckoning coming for you.
Can I lobby for Cameron to get a Benny for that scene?
Yeah,
Is that a thing we can do in this game?
Yeah,
I
that was
second
good.
that motion.
I also like bennies, so I'll take one.
Give it a shot. There's like a fading montage of a week's worth of work. It's cut between Thaddeus, Abel, and Harper, kind of in the same areas, unloading stuff off boats coming in, mining, cooking, really hard work days. They try to keep you guys apart as much as possible, though. And most of the times you're together, it's under close supervision during the week. And interlaced with those are shots of Lucky in his cell throughout the week. He's just kept there the entire time. During that montage, we do stop at some point for Thaddeus. You're unloading some stuff off one of these boats. And you hear a few members of the Upright Gang talking to one another about a recent encounter in the maze. We lost a whole nother boat out there, man.
Dang, another one?
Another one. Fucking crazy.
That is insane.
There were some survivors, but what can you trust in the maze?
God must have been looking on them, because most of the others died.
If this keeps up, we're not going to have any boats left to go out.
Well, it's only a matter of time before the kid gets out there, and once the kid gets out there, he's gonna find him sure as rain.
Lord's will be done.
Lord's will be done.
Hey, move that box.
Oh, yeah. Are we in trouble out here?
Don't worry, the Lord will protect us.
That he will.
All right. I mean, if we're not getting supplies in and we don't have a way to get this stuff out, aren't we going to need men for those boats?
We will grow our food in the garden of the God, and the Lord will protect those who are worthy enough to go into the maze.
Amen.
Fear not crocodiles or dragons.
Amen.
Dragons. And Thaddeus will grab a hold of one of these boxes they pointed to, and he'll start loading it like he wants.
We cut to Sunday. The nice thing about Sundays, the weeks that you guys have been here, is that everything is a lot more relaxed. Everyone is brought together in the same area, and so the guards are just doing a sort of large perimeter around everyone instead of operating over individual cells of prisoners. So whoever you guys want to try to talk to or converse with this, you're kind of free to do so without oversight. That being said, none of you have really gotten a chance to discuss any sort of plans throughout the week until this point. You're all free to make your vigor rolls for the weekly healing every 5 days, but we're just rounding it up to 7 because, yeah. Who's still wounded here?
I blew
This
up on my
guy.
last one, so I'm fine.
Cool.
I'm definitely still wounded.
I'm still wounded as well.
Gonna have to use a red Benny. 11.
Oh, wow. So you're fully healed?
I guess so. Dang, it's been a while. I like that.
You took a cannonball and healed in 2 weeks by chilling in a cell.
Well, you know, I'm a very resilient guy.
You've gotten good medical care, I think.
I've eaten
I'll
people.
spend a Benny for my reroll and then make it this time to recover.
Cool. Do you have any more wounds?
I don't believe so, no.
Wow. First time in a long time, guys. Are you there just together? Have you made any friends during this time? Is old Boot there? Set this up for me. I think they're getting ready for services, so everyone's just sort of congregating with one another before the sermon.
By everyone, am I also there?
Yes, you are. Yeah. No one misses services. Not in the whole compound.
So are we wearing black robes like everybody else is now?
Ooh. Well, Harper, you mentioned to me that you're trying to get in the good graces of these people, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to make a persuasion roll for me, we can see how that's going.
To get myself in robes or not in robes?
Not in robes.
I don't think it matters, but I'm going for
But
it.
do you want to be in the robes?
I was...
Yeah, what do you
Well,
want?
I mean, my
I don't
clothes
think
are going to
it's
be
all
ruined
for that,
anyways. I
right?
was just curious.
No, your clothes, they stitch them up.
Yeah, they got tailors. They got seamsters.
Seamsters, yes.
Yeah.
It's a failure.
You're in black robes.
It's fine. My other clothes were ruined by blood and seawater and,
Sure, whatever.
you know, sweat and shit anyway.
And pee
Yeah.
from you peeing your pants.
Urine.
All four of you are in black robes. Lucky does have a red cord hanging from his sort of hood, but everyone else is in pure black robes. Is old Boot here? That's the
It's
question.
gotta be, right?
Yeah.
He's not.
Honestly,
in
we've been
robes.
looking to him for wisdom every single,
Yeah, I
every
feel like,
single
yeah.
Sunday. If he has nothing, then we're
He's
fucked.
in a white robe with a gold rope.
Honestly,
A
he's so
golden rope.
charismatic that like he's a preacher. At
Well,
this point.
honestly, let's roll. He's got a D10 in persuasion. Let's see how he
that's
does.
too much. That is too much roll.
What do you get?
3.
3? Okay,
not
nope.
so good.
Black robes.
Well,
Black robes.
Try it, old dude.
Caleb, I got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Harper would have been keeping his ear to the ground during this week.
Okay.
So I've got a few questions. I don't know if you want me to roll to find out, but
Let's roll a notice, and for every success and raise, you can ask one question that I will answer truthfully.
that I can do.
Very PBTA.
Notice or investigation?
It's the same thing now. God damn it. I'm going to spin a Benny.
Good call.
Woof.
Well, that's a 7.
I'll give you 2, but the second one won't be a full truth.
Okay. In that case, Harper wants to know where the piles of like extra items being, specifically weapons, like where they're keeping all the guns that they're taking off of these pirates and these random sailors.
Well, Cameron, interestingly enough, immediately before the session, I'm not lying this time, I listened to our previous recording, and you rolled snake eyes in the area that they store everything in. And the result of that snake eyes is that you're going to have to make a smarts roll to navigate to the room that you want to go to. That being said, you know that the room is near the doctors in the right passage. Like if you come in the harbor, immediately to the right.
And the second thing I want to know is what do the people, like what do the Cola Kids allies call him? Do they call him the kid? Does he have a name that they use?
They do call him the kid.
So are we meeting at the pews in front of the tree then? Or where is it they have us
I
congregate?
imagined the crows would be at the furthest back pew.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You kind of get to pick. It's closer to the guards, I guess, but, you know, they're not paying attention. It's a day off for them, too.
Yeah.
Is old Boot back there with him?
Old Boot's back there with them, yeah.
Thank goodness.
It's a tight shot on Abel as he sits in the pew, obviously annoyed, but happy to not be working. His hair and beard that grow on half of his face in the last week have kind of grown out to be sort of a short stubble, maybe a quarter of an inch long, as he's obviously given up all attempts to shave it or try to keep himself clean. There's an air of defeat around him as the camera pulls out and we see him flanked on the pew by his brothers. And he kind of leans toward Thaddeus. Where do you think Jack is, huh? Is he coming back for us?
Actually, it's interesting you say that. Thaddeus will sort of turn to Abel and he'll start sort of over dramatically rubbing the side of his head as he sort of is covering his mouth so people can't really see what he's saying to you. I heard a couple of workers the other day saying that they've been losing ships. I don't know if it's just me being foolish and hopeful, but I think that's a good indicator of what's going on out there. I think he's causing some trouble. Maybe helping thin the tides here so we can, make a move sooner than later.
I'd certainly hope so. Well, here comes Lucky. He doesn't look too happy either.
Lucky sits down next to you guys in the pew without saying a word. You know he's upset because you hear a nervous tap, 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 tap from his foot. And he's doing this because he realizes these open spaces are starting to make him uncomfortable. And that idea is starting to make him uncomfortable. We have to get out of here.
Well, yeah, of course, Lucky.
Yeah, this has to happen now. We have to do this there now or tomorrow or today or anything. We can't keep going. Shh. I can't keep going.
Lucky.
Harper's kind of shushing his brothers. The camera slowly pans over to him. Harper's starting to look dangerously close to Thaddeus. I feel like this is the first time that you can really see the family resemblance. Harper's beard has similarly grown out, just a little too long, and his hair is just a little too shabby that he's starting to look like Episode 1 Thaddeus. He's wearing the same black robes as everyone else, and it looks like he has a wooden prosthetic arm on his stump that ends in I imagine a closing hook. Boys, the Lord has got a plan. And he kind of looks down the line of his brothers with kind of a knowing stare.
Lucky shoots you a disgusted look.
You too, huh?
The Lord has a plan?
Harper looks a little irritated and he says, the Lord has a plan.
No. I don't give a shit about your code words anymore. I can't fucking handle this anymore. You don't know what I've been through. Listen. You look like shit, Harper. Look at yourself. You look like fucking Thaddeus.
Hey, come on now.
No offense, Thaddeus.
I'm not offended, but come on.
Well, you should be. You kind of look like shit sometimes, but I'm going to tell you the truth right now.
Yeah, okay.
I don't fucking
Lucky,
know.
bring it down a notch.
I don't fucking know if Ellis is even coming. Yeah. We hear there's fucking killing out going on. We don't know if that's him or Wuchuge. We don't know what the hell's going on with Ellis. Why the hell are we trusting him? Let's do this today.
Lucky, the Lord has a fucking plan.
I swear to God, Harper, if you fucking say the Lord has a plan, I will fucking kill you, I swear.
A guard gets 2 blow-ups on a D6. He gets a 15 on his notice check. And some of them start to kind of meander towards your pew.
Abel stands up, puts a big hand on the back of Harper's neck, and just like tries to pull him up to his feet and starts shuffling him off to the side, trying to pull him away from the other boys.
I think that sort of draws the attention of the 2 guards that come over to you and say,
Brothers, is everything all right? It's the Lord's day. It's a day of peace and a day of rest. Certainly, you would like to stay with the rest of the congregation.
Of course we would. I was just trying to go see the doctor. I don't know why you're getting so upset.
Are you ill?
I got this new arm fitted and it just ain't feeling right. I just wanted to go see the doctor. Figured, well, it's the Lord's day. While we're not working, I might as well try to, use that to my advantage.
make a persuasion roll with +2. If you succeed, you're getting a guard escort. If you get a raise, you're probably not.
I got a success.
He looks to his buddy.
All right, we'll take you to Dr. John. Absolutely.
Thank you. Harper looks up at Abel and kind of pats him on the chest and says, don't worry, Abel. The Lord has a plan.
Abel narrows his eyes. He certainly does. But the last time I read it, he looks over at the guard, all ends very well.
I guess we'll find out, won't we? And Harper smiles a little bit.
He is risen, brothers.
He is risen.
They all rise eventually, he says under his breath as he turns away and towards the boys.
Harper is taken off into a passage, and Abel, you sit back down with Thaddeus, Lucky, and Old Boot.
Damn, Lucky, I know you're stressing out, but can we please just keep it together? All right? I've been working on something, okay?
You're working.
And not in front of Daisy. The boy's turning or something weird. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him. They're being real kind to him, and I think he's getting a little soft.
If we have to, I'll club him on the back of the head and drag his ass out.
We probably don't have to do that. He won't be able to fight us all if we push him hard enough. But look, I found something recently back on that Mondragon's ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving me some ideas.
Well, are they ideas you can actually deliver on?
Well, what if I... And Thaddeus will start fiddling with his hand like he's trying to do some sort of sleight of hand trick. And he'll produce the ace of spades in his hand real quick and show it to you. I think I have some ideas that we can work on. But we need a little bit more time, and we can't be getting ourselves in trouble now, Lucky. All right?
Lucky looks at you with pleading, watery eyes. A little more time is a lot harder than it seems, Thaddeus. You fucking know what I've been through.
I won't pretend like it's not rough on you, okay? And we're definitely getting you out. But I don't know that we're going to be all together. We're going to come for you, all right? So until then, after services, you just got to... I don't know.
Lucky, we're going to get one shot at this, you understand? And I don't know the hell you're going through. But I'm thinking, if you can do it for a little bit longer, hell, we can burn this whole place down on the way out.
Lucky puts his hands over his ears. I'll try.
Man, Thaddeus will slowly put a shoulder or a hand on his shoulder. Man, I don't know.
Thank you for listening to Sounds Like Crows. If you like the show, the best thing you can do for us is tell a friend about us or leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. Thaddeus Crow was played by Marshall Sims, who can be found on Twitter at Mr. Malicious1. Abel Crow is played by Isaac Sunstead, at Abel the Crow. Ellis Crow is played by Alex Horrell, at Alex Horrell. Lucky was portrayed by Cameron Day, who can be found on our patron-exclusive Discord server. Harper Crow was played by Cameron Reed at CJReed211. I'm Caleb Sunstead, your host and game master, and I can be found on Twitter at MarshallCaleb. See you next Monday.